Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, and it is a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer? And joining me today is somebody who I think is a very talented person. This is the first person that we've had up here that is a belly dancer, so that is really, really awesome, and I can't wait to talk about that in today's interview, and that is cosplayer Finders Reapers. Ree, how are you doing today?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, and I love that you are doing awesome right now. And I'm really excited to get into today's interview. Are you ready to go?
Let's do this.
All right, awesome. So before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down below in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So the first question that I ask each and every guest up here on Who's That Cosplayer is, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one. So tell everybody who you are.
Okay, so my cosplay origin story?
Yeah. Well, tell everybody who you were before you you found that rock out in the grass field and you became a cosplayer.
Before I had a deep spiritual experience. Got it.
Yeah.
So basically, I had just finished my master's degree and moved back to the States. And I had enjoyed cosplay, like just watching it for a while. I was always very amazed at like the sort of dedication people had to a character.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was always that person who was just way too into Halloween. So whenever there was a costume party or something, I was the one who always went all out. So it actually started after I watched Black Butler, and I saw Undertaker, and I was like, oh my God, I need to be him in a weird way. But I was just like, you know what? I think I could do that. And it just started with him, and I was just going to do him. And then it spiraled, and here we are 4 years later, almost 4 years later.
Nice. I love that. And, I just want to let everybody know that before we did the interview and whatnot, Ree had made they made a poll in their stories asking like, who should I cosplay as next? And I had saw Undertaker, and I've never watched Black Butler, so I thought that they were talking about Undertaker the wrestler, and they was just like, oh no, it's Undertaker from Black Butler. And when I was putting the slideshow together, I was like, oh, okay, so that's the Undertaker. It's not the Undertaker from the WWE. Are you a wrestling fan by any chance?
I am exclusively a Rhea Ripley fan.
Oh, nice. Yeah, she's nice, and she just won the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Did you watch that match or watch any clips?
I watched some clips of it. I feel like a terrible wrestling fan because I literally only watch things with her in it. But I love her very much. And I just love the energy she exudes in the ring. Her character is great.
Yeah, I mean, and she likes to call herself mommy, and she's a huge anime fan too. Back when she first started wrestling, she did not a cosplay, but a wrestling outfit that was similar to Vegeta from the Dragon Ball series. And at WrestleMania, I can't remember which one it was a few years ago, she wore like an updated Vegeta outfit. So I mean, I just love the fact that nerds are everywhere now. It's just like we took over the world, and it's just like, it's just so cool to just see people be themselves and be their favorite characters and stuff like that. So you told me how you got into cosplay and everything. Halloween was your gateway. That's something that I hear from everybody. So I want to know, like, how was it when you went to your first con? How was that experience? Did you go there in cosplay, or did you just go there and feel how it felt? How was it?
So I'm the sort of person who I just throw myself all in and then deal with the repercussions later when it comes to things like trying stuff that's new. So the first con I ever went to was NashiCon in Columbia, South Carolina, which no longer exists, RIP. But it was such a good con. Like, it was in February 2020 before the world ended. Yeah. And like the vibe was great. It's a smaller con.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good gateway to where I wasn't like I didn't show up at Momo and then get very overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I also shanghaied two of my friends into coming with me, who one of them really liked anime and the other one was like, I'm just here because I'm dating that one.
Yeah.
So he dressed up as Luffy, or he was actually off-brand Luffy.
Oh, what
And
is it called? Because I just found out about it. The fake straw hats. Is that?
yes, that's who he was.
Oh my god, man, that's.
And I'm trying to remember, she was Kiki from Kiki's Delivery
I love
Service.
Kiki's delivery service.
And I was Undertaker, so none of us went together. So we looked like a motley crew. But it was a really good vibe. I enjoyed it. And it kind of made me just want to start going to cons because of that. Everyone was super supportive and it was just a great time. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. So you said it was a smaller con. I hear from people all the time. I mean, myself included. Like, I love going to smaller cons because, there isn't that many people there, and like you can easily move around and like you meet new people and whatnot. But I went to my first big con this year, KatsuCon, and like there was just so many people there, and I was just like, wow, like this is way different than going to a smaller convention. So I want to ask you, if you have been to a bigger convention before, which do you prefer? Do you prefer going to smaller conventions or going to bigger ones?
So the only big convention I've been to has been Holiday Matsuri, which I went to this past year, which I'm a socially anxious person for the most part. And I was honestly surprised that didn't get too overwhelming. It got to be a lot at times, but honestly, the logistics was more nerve-wracking than the actual con, just because it's Orlando.
Yeah, trust me. I just went to MegaCon. I know.
I know, right? You get there and you're just like, okay, was this a mistake or am I actually going to have fun? They usually end up having fun.
Yeah.
But for smaller cons versus bigger cons, I like a good medium size. So if I had to only ever go to like small cons, I think I'd be okay.
Yeah.
As long as you've got like a good solid group of friends, the vibes are usually immaculate. And even if the con itself is not amazing, like it's still just fun, you and your friends like going to an IHOP and cosplay and taking photos.
Yeah, going to IHOP well, I mean, you just mentioned IHOP. What do you prefer more, IHOP or Denny's?
Oh, IHOP. To be fair,
IHOP
there is like one Denny's near me and it's on its last leg. So I have to go with IHOP.
Oh man. It's crazy because when I was at MegaCon, like there weren't any IHOPs around us, but there were Denny's. And I was just like, it's just like our friend, like she really wanted to go to Denny's. And I was just like, okay. I mean, like, if I had to choose between the two, it would definitely be IHOP. But now I want to, get back to some more cosplay stuff. Now, one of the things that I love about meeting cosplayers is looking at the photos that they have on their social media. And the thing that I love is putting these slideshows together. Well, I don't put the slideshows together. I'm sorry. Let me rewind real quick. The Magic TV puts the slideshows together. And I just see all of these amazing photos and amazing cosplays. So, you've done so many cosplays. And I got to know, because usually I get people, what's your top 3? But because you've done so many, I want to know your top 5. What are your top 5 favorite cosplays that you've done?
I'm quite partial to Abakio, as you can see. Abakio, my recent Giorno, I rebooted him, and I'm super proud of that. I stoned a lot of that costume by hand, and I just really like the way Giorno looks, like on myself. Sukuna is always a fun time. I really want to revamp him soon and kind of turn him more androgynous. And now that I have like the silicone chest, I really want to do that as well. And Toji, he ruins my life, but I love him. Says every Toji simp ever. And then the last one, I think, just going back to my roots, is Undertaker. I do like have to be a bit careful when I cosplay him, just because that's all people want to see sometimes. And I'm like, listen, he's cool. We got to get back to the JoJo stuff.
Exactly, right? I mean, JoJo is life. And I love JoJo. You love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So I want to go ahead and take it into this direction next. Which part is your favorite part? Who's that cosplayer?
For aesthetics, part 5.
Okay.
I just finished part 7 and it has taken over my brain.
Dang, it's that good? I hear that from so many people. I'm only on chapter 5 right now.
It gets really good. And I know everyone says that about everything, but hold out just a little bit longer. And especially once you get to where Valentine is more involved, it
Mm-hmm.
gets really good.
Okay,
And
yeah.
so if I had to just pick one, like, I don't know, Star Platinum to my head would probably be Part 5.
Okay, all right. So, which JoJo, Joestar that is your favorite JoJo?
Jolene.
Okay, all right. And why is that?
She's just such a different character in terms of you don't start with this quest necessarily like you do with everything else. Everyone else has a mission, whether to save someone, to defeat a certain character. She's just trying to live her life.
Yeah.
And I think she's just more relatable in that way, while at the same time still being a badass.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And like, honestly, when I first started watching and reading Part 6, SIA was kind of boring to me because I'm just like, okay, well, what's the adventure? Like how you were just saying. But then it's like the further the story goes, it's just like, wow, like this story is really, really good. And, it's always fighting for between Part 4 and Part 6. Like those two are always fighting because I just love the story so much. So I want to ask you now, which villain is your favorite villain? It can be a major villain or it can be a minor one.
Okay. Risotto Nero.
Okay.
I love La Squadra. And I feel like there's two types of Part 5 fans. The Bucci Gang people and the La Squadra people.
Yup, that's true. That's true.
So yeah, Risotto Nero for sure.
Okay. All right. So final JoJo question, and then we're going to move along. I ask all JoJo fans this. If you could have your own stand that's not in the series, what would the stand's name be and what would the ability be?
Okay. I had an OC with a stand and I'm trying to remember what her stand was. It's been a minute.
See, I love that you even had one. And it's not one of those things where it's just like, this is a tough question. Like you already had one.
I had a La Squadra OC named Frajola.
Nice.
So I think her stand, I remember, it was Dirty Diana.
Oh, based off a Michael Jackson song?
Yes.
Nice. What was the ability?
So Dirty Diana can touch anything and know everything that has happened to that item. So for instance, I'm sitting at a desk right now. If Dirty Diana touched the desk, she would instantly be able to know, okay, who sat at this recently? What is the business surrounding it? So almost kind of like visualizing a filing cabinet, which doesn't sound very exciting, but visualizing a filing cabinet, but being able to skim through all of the pertinent information around it. So kind of like Moody Blues, but without time.
Yeah, exactly. And now was Moody Blues, were they the influence for Dirty Diana?
Yes.
Okay. And, I like that because, I mean, like you were saying, it may not sound like, awesome stand, but, if you're trying to find some information for something, because for Moody Blues, it can only go so far back. Whereas with Dirty Diana, like say if you want to know something from 1925 when the thing was originally made, it can pull up everything and then bam, now you can find whatever you're looking for, find a treasure or something. Who knows? I think that's an awesome stand and it's very unique. That's why I love asking that question, because everybody always has these unique abilities for what their stands can do and whatnot. So thank you so much for answering that for me. So moving along now, like I had mentioned at the start of the interview, you're a belly dancer. And, I want to know, like, what was it that led you to want to start doing this?
So I was studying abroad with my master's, and as any grad student will tell you, you sit a lot.
Yeah.
So I was getting very irritated, and I get the zoomies. It's the ADHD zoomies. And I needed an outlet for that. And my college was having a taster week for all the exercise classes and clubs. So I went to the Arabic belly dancing club, and I was just like, you know what? It's free. I'll just try it.
Yeah.
Fell in love immediately. Paid my dues for the rest of the semester right then. And I've just loved it ever since. I'm not a pro by any means. This is just something I really like to do as a hobby. So when I call myself a belly dancer, it's with the knowledge that I'm not comparing myself to a professional.
Yeah. I mean, that's still awesome, man. I mean, because I know that it takes time and energy to, perfect the craft, and even though, like you say, that you're not a professional, like you just putting yourself out there and doing it, like, do you have any cool stories or experiences from, you doing it so far?
So I have competed.
Nice.
And I won best, or it's called Rising Star, but best newcomer last year. So I was like, okay, cool, I won, I'm done. So my competition days are over. But one of the things that came from competing is just you meet so many cool people, as not just the judges, but other competitors as well. Mm-hmm. And depending on the category you're in, people are pretty cool. Like if you do more of the American cabaret style, or what is seen as traditional belly dance, like Rock Sharky, mm-hmm. people are generally okay. If you go do fusion, the people are super cool.
Nice. That's awesome, man. And I love that you do this, man. And I want to ask, what is some advice that you would give to anybody that may want to, learn how to belly dance?
My advice would be, don't let anything hold you back, which sounds really cliche, but what I mean is, if you have a skeleton, you can belly dance. You do not need to have a certain body type or a body size. You don't need to look a certain way. You don't need to be a certain gender identity. It's not only for women. And it's a very welcoming, like, inclusive space if you find the right people.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. You know what's crazy? Like, I've never seen men belly dance. So, like, I think that's cool that, it's something that anybody can do. And, maybe your boy might, see what's around here in Virginia and check it out. Because I'm always down to learning new things, because I always say you got one life to live and you should try to experience everything that you can do in your life. So, moving along, I want to ask you, when you're not cosplaying and you're not belly dancing, what are some of your hobbies that you're into?
So I'm into archery.
Nice. That's awesome.
I have some styrofoam that I put in the backyard, and I just shoot from that. I don't really go to shooting ranges, mm-hmm. just because that generally mixes firearms and bows, and I prefer to just do bows.
Yeah.
So I use a trad bow. I've used compound before, but I prefer traditional, which is like a la Legolas instead of the ones with like the wheels. I enjoy doing that. I'm trying to think, because most of my time really is like cosplay and dance. But I also love to read, not just manga or light novels or manhwa, but I just will read anything I get my hands on. I love random deep dives on YouTube or finding random books. So I basically am the best person you could have on your trivia team, because I know a little bit of something of everything.
See, and that is something that my tag partner always says, because like he's not the biggest nerd, but he knows a little bit of something, so that way if he needs to talk about something, he can get in any conversation. But then it's like, once you start asking him like other stuff, then he's just like, yeah, I'm done, change the subject. That's him all day, man. So we're here at the end of the interview, and I just want to say thank you so much for coming up here on a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer. It was awesome talking to you. And before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
Alrighty, so if you want to follow me on TikTok or Instagram, I am finders_reapers, and my name is Rhea, spelled REA. And those are right now the only places you can find me. I may make a foray into YouTube eventually if TikTok goes by, but as for right now, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ree, for joining me up here. Y'all know where y'all can find me, your hero Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you, Ree, so much for joining me. Y'all make sure that y'all go and follow them on all of their social media accounts as well. And make sure you check out some of the awesome cosplays that they have coming up. And if they do say something about The Undertaker, it is not The Undertaker that is in the WWE. So with that being said, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.